Right now on Money Matters Today. Y2K all over again? Computer users may be facing problems in the coming weeks, and it has nothing to do with a virus or spyware. The culprit is daylight. We'll explain. Cheers to your job. A little wine at a business meeting may not be so bad. Or is it? The pros reveal important advice that could save your job. Antique furniture and collectible silver. They can be beautiful and worth a lot of money, but only if you know exactly what to look for. Dr. Lori is here to dispel the myths about collectibles. And now, Money Matters Today, with your host, Mary Caracoli.
And welcome to MMT Today. Why a taste of spring could cause your computer to wig out. And an important food recall, this time a staple of school lunches, peanut butter is involved. Plus, the arrest of a U.S. Airways CEO on drunk driving charges has some people taking another look at when it's okay to have a drink. And our antique expert, Dr. Lori, is here. She's going to look at your items, and today she has something for all of our MMT viewers. But we begin with the computer glitch that is in the works. Your phones, laptops, PCs, and gadgets may not want to see daylight come March 11th, and it's a day we should be looking forward to. For some, it is a celebrated day, the start of daylight savings time, when clocks spring forward. This year, a change. We spring forward 3 weeks earlier than usual. The move, decreed by Congress in 2005, was designed to save energy. The idea makes sense. With more daylight in the evening hours, we'll turn on our lights later. The problem? Computers. Like the Y2K scare, there is growing concern that our computers and electronic devices that were created before 2005 will go haywire. After all, they are programmed for the old start and finish of daylight savings time, not the new dates which kick off the second Sunday in March and end the first Sunday in November. What should you be concerned about? Calendar programs like Outlook, created before the 2005 law was passed. Older gadgets, and you'll want to keep an eye on automatic bill pay or other automated financial transactions. Microsoft Corporation is offering a patch that will help some of its users. For people using computers a few years old, some technicians recommend that you go to the control panel, unclick the setting that tells the machine to automatically change the clock for daylight savings time. You'll need to then change the clock again on March 11th. Well, whether you're worried about your business or your home, we've got you covered. Joining me now are Mike Amato. He's one of our CN8 engineers who handles all of my IT questions. And live in Washington is Ed Finn from the computer service provider RESCUECOM. Welcome to you both.
Good evening.
Thanks for having us.
Mike, I'm going to start with you. Right off the bat, let's take a look at this from an office point of view. You help manage a decent-sized office here. What are some of the concerns you have come March 11th that you'll be on the lookout for in your other colleagues?
Mostly the older operating systems. Windows XP is pretty easy. Microsoft has pushed updates for that, but other systems like Windows 98, Windows Millennium, they're not going to auto-update. We're going to have to go in and actually change settings on those individually, which is more of a slowdown for us.
It's sort of like what we described in that. Go ahead and click in there with the control panel and just change the daylight savings time. That you don't want that, but you've got to do it with each individual machine, right?
It just becomes a tedious process more than anything.
Makes sense. Now, Ed, for you, what is your big concern about this, or do you have a big concern about it?
Well, it's certainly not as big a concern as when we went through the Y2K issues, but there are going to be many people that show up an hour early or an hour late for meetings, especially those that are between people with machines on two different times. Many people use Outlook to send an automatic meeting notice to other people in the organizations, and if they're not synchronized, somebody's going to be early or late for a meeting.
Okay, so that's an important thing to point out. So if you do have a meeting plan, and the window really is when it was originally going to be in April, that the Sunday in April from March 11th, so back timing it there, those 3 weeks or so, that will be different for folks, because come April, everybody will be on then the same time, right?
Exactly. The 3-week period that daylight savings time starts early this year is going to be the tough period for many people, and also the 1 week at the end in the fall.
Okay, so we should point that out. We have a graphic on the screen. It begins, the old one was the first Sunday in April. The new one is the second Sunday in March, the 11th, as we've pointed out. And it ends now a week later, that first Sunday in November. So looking at this from a personal, individual investment for our homeowners out there, Ed, what are you offering your clients? What should they be doing at home, particularly with maybe some of the gadgets, not so much the computers?
Well, the gadgets most likely are going to cause much larger problems than the computers. Windows XP and the 2003 operating systems from Microsoft will update automatically, but things like VCRs and cell phones and other devices, the clock radios that may not update themselves automatically are going to have to be done manually. So those VCRs and that kind of device are going to be off, of course, by an hour for that 3-week period.
So I guess it makes sense, Mike, to get out all those owner's manuals right now, so just in case you've got to go in there and do the stuff manually, you can do it. Exactly.
It's always good to have manuals around and for reference purposes, and it's not always the easiest thing with some devices to get in there and find what you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. And there's probably also some decent web support out there for folks. So, Ed, I guess the last word on this, it is not a Y2K-ish big issue, right? Which ended up not really being a big issue after all. But how big should this be for consumers and for business owners to be worried about?
Well, I think it's something that they have to worry about, especially if there's a number of people invited to a meeting and they show up at the wrong time. Many of our customers are going to be able to get help from us at our 1-800-RESCUE-7 call center, and we'll be able to have a technician help them through their issues.
That's right. Well, if you don't have Mike working for you like I do here, then you call RESCUECOM. There you go. Ed Finn, thank you so much for joining me from Washington. And Mike, thank you so much for all the hard work we get from you every day as well.